Hello and welcome to Texas History. This is Nathan Giesenschlag. I'm your professor. Let us go through a little introduction into the course. And so you should see in the screen ahead of you, you should see the syllabus before. This course is designed to cover many facets of Texas history from the present time to deep antiquity. And we will do that in an unconventional manner. The first thing to make note of as we go through this course is that I will teach it in a not strictly chronological method. And the first section of this course, by the way, which is a blended course, will be taught in modern Texas, probably focusing on Lyndon Johnson, politics, and modern Texas. So that all said is that in the second section, the second unit, we will be talking about, and I will be lecturing on Spanish Texas history. And that'll take about 2 weeks in this blended format. Then after that, we'll talk about Mexican Texas and the coming of the Texas Revolution in Unit 3. And in the last few moments of the course at the end, to say about week 7, the Texas Revolution itself will take center stage and we'll focus exclusively on that. This being a blended course, this course will go fast. And so for many of you, you've already taken blended courses. Some of you might have taken it with me in previous semesters. But you know, these things go quickly. So there will be material online on eCampus, and there will also be material presented in class. It is important for you to do both. And this course is going to be very fast-paced. If you fall behind, it will be harder to catch up. But you have to watch, you have to do. It's just the nature of the beast of an 8-week blended course. So anyways, let's go ahead and scroll through here. The meeting times for this semester are going to be on Monday and Wednesday. And this is the spring semester in the first 8 weeks. This will be Monday and Wednesday at 12 p.m. to 1:15 p.m. And we will be in Blinn Rellis Administration, room number 272. In addition to that, you can see the contact information as I scroll by. You can see my name, Nathan Giesenschlag. Email is always a good way to get a hold of me, and I normally will answer email even later into the evening. Now, admittedly, I do not sit by my phone or my computer, but, you know, before you have an exam or before you have some sort of major event, such as the first exam when you have honor lock and what have you, I do tend to pay a little closer of attention to my emails in the nighttime. So anyways, but don't expect me to email somebody back at midnight or whatever, because that's just not the way I go. I get up in the morning at about 4:45 in the morning, and I go to bed at about 9 o'clock. So with exceptions, that's like I said, for major events going on in courses that I teach. Anyways, my office is up on the Blinn Rellis Administration building on the 3rd floor. It is 310S where all the faculty offices are, so just look for my name on the door. At the time of this recording, my wife, Gloria Giesenschlag, is also teaching up there as a historian, so there could be some confusion between me and my wife. Obviously, I am Nathan and she is Gloria, and there's a little bit of a difference between the two of us. So you look for the office that says Nathan on it. So anyways, you can see the office phone number also on your screen, 7326. And then my office hours are going to be on Mondays and Wednesdays because this course is on Mondays and Wednesdays. And it basically goes from 9 a.m. until about 11:30 a.m. And then also after my last class, which ends at 4:05, I generally will hang around in the office until about 5 p.m. So from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., I'm on the campus. Sometimes I might even be up there a little earlier, but not officially at least. My class schedule this 8 weeks is going to be Mondays and Wednesdays. I start class at noon with y'all, Texas history, and then I have a couple of American history Part 2 classes at 1:25 and at 2:50. So basically from the noon hour until the 4 o'clock hour, I am in class. But if you catch me beforehand in my office, that's fine. You catch me afterward, that's fine. But also I'd ask you to do this too, is that if you want to meet with me on, say, a Tuesday or a Thursday or even a Friday morning, I'm willing to meet. We can do this by appointment, or we can do it via Zoom or Teams or some sort of other teleconference method, or just make a phone call. That'll work too. So anyways, there's many ways to get a hold of me. Oftentimes I like to want to put a name with a face, all that sort of stuff. So I hope to see you in person beyond the classroom, but that's fine if it's just in the classroom, because I also understand too that this is in a sense a business, and that y'all are you're in here to get a grade, you're in here to pass this course, and you need to get in, get out, and move on. Because most of the students who take this course, especially at RELLIS, are going to end up being engineering students or something akin to the hard sciences, whether it's engineering explicitly or construction science or something else. So anyways, that's that. As I've already kind of talked about the Texas history side, you can read through all that sort of fun stuff if you want. But the next thing up I would suggest you take a look at is the materials with me. Beyond Myths and Legends, A Narrative History of Texas. That textbook will become more important in the second and third portions of the class. Those units there, when we talk about Old Spanish Texas and then Mexican Texas, that'll be important to you then. This first few weeks is not that important. If you're paying attention in lecture, you're watching the videos, you're reading what you're supposed to read, what I post up or assign you in the reader, you should be okay for the first exam. But I do think you need to buy the textbook is my point, especially if your experience with Texas history was in 7th grade with old Coach Johnson or Coach Garcia, whoever the coach was. Normally a football coach, he could be something else. And I understand, by the way, there was probably some of you are thinking like, yeah, I had a good teacher in high school who was also a coach. But I imagine some of you watching this video and taking me for the first time will also say, yeah, I had Coach Johnson and he was bad. The only thing he cared about was winning football games, and he didn't care if we knew anything. And if I stayed awake, I got an A, and if I fell asleep, I got a B, which is actually a statement I took from a student from some years ago. Anyways, all that to say is that the textbook will be necessary, the materials will be necessary, and yes, you do have to stay awake in my course, and you need to do a little more than stay awake to pass this course. So anyways, my experience and my guess is most of you are looking to stay in A&M and want to get into Mays or the engineering program here or there, and you probably need to maintain a certain GPA. So a lot of you will be striving to make that A in this course, and there's plenty of opportunities with extra credit, and if you just do what you're supposed to do, you can make an A in this course. You certainly can make a B in this course as well. So anyways, that all to say is that you do need a textbook, a narrative history, but just later on in the course. Now, the Lone Star Reader, you will need that reader all the way through the course. From the first exam to the last exam, well, maybe not the last exam, but the first 3 exams, you certainly will need it. And if we'll scroll through to the schedule or the course schedule in a second, you'll see where I post the reading assignments out of that reader. So just make sure you pay attention to the materials and you get those textbooks and the reader especially. Those ISBN numbers are important in order to order the correct book. The edition does matter. I am demanding we have to use certain editions. So the 4th edition, which is in 2022 for the reader, and for the textbook is in 23, the 7th edition. Make sure you get the right edition because they're not all the same. They do change from year to year. Okay, so as far as this course is concerned, you're going to have assignments and so forth. First thing you need to pay attention to is that I will give 4 exams, not counting the final exam. During the course, you will have 4 exams, 1 every 2 weeks, basically. On the 7th week going into the 8th week, that is when everything gets jammed up because we're trying to finish the course. And in an 8-week class, especially in the spring semester, in the first 8 weeks, we're coming right up onto spring break. So time, draws nigh. But anyways, those exams will be a mixture of true, false, multiple choice, and essay. So I will put normally some sort of essay on each exam. Sometimes I will give it to you, or at least I will give you some options, meaning the options that I will choose, but you'll know the questions ahead of time for the essay. My experience has been is that especially if you haven't taken me before, my experience has been is that most students groan when they hear the word essay. But they come to find, at least some do, that when they get the fact that they will get the essay or they will know the target they're shooting at, meaning they'll have a pretty good concept of what I'm looking for on the essay, they will say this is they prefer to write an essay than to do A, B, C, D. Your mileage may vary, and some of you will say, nope, I still don't care. I prefer A, B, C, D, and I like to take my chances that way. That's fine. But anyways, with regard to the essay, when you write them, just if you're taking notes into this introductory introduction to the course. What I would suggest you do is when you take that essay and you write that essay, and you'll do it without notes. You'll have scratch paper. It's all honor locked, by the way, so all these exams will be honor locked. But when you do that essay, my suggestion is this. My plea with you is this. The more you write, the better off you will be. The more you write, the better off you will be. And for some of you, that will mean 250 words. Some of you, because you're just verbose and you remember everything and you'll just throw everything at me, and that's fine too. You'll write somewhere close to 500, or maybe even a couple of you will top out close to 1,000 words. You'll have plenty of time on honor lock to do these exams. I generally have taken, especially since I've added in the essay component, which I've just talked about, I generally give each student about 3 hours to do the essay and to get that done. So 3 hours is plenty enough time to get all this in. Most students take somewhere between, especially nowadays with that 3 hour limit, most students will take somewhere around 45 minutes to do these exams, and it's okay. But the really good students, I come to find, they're the ones who write a lot because they've studied hard and they've gotten ready and they've prepped up. My experience has been is that on those exams that really ring the bell, that get the A's all the time, they're the ones who spend normally about an hour to an hour and a half, and sometimes closer to 2 hours writing these things up. Generally speaking, I also give bonus questions on the exam, oftentimes in the form of a writing assignment, so that probably also lengthens the exam out, but I don't mind grading it, and so that's just kind of, you get what you give. So if you want points and you want to make sure you pass the course and get the A that you're looking for, or perhaps a B, you have to give something in return. There's no free lunches in life sort of idea. That's the kind of way I'm going at it. So anyways, that's that. The next thing up is, so you got those 4 exams. By the way, I should add this into your notes as you're annotating this thing. The exams, I will drop the lowest exam grade at the end of the course. So if you miss an exam, or you failed the first exam, or something went haywire in the second exam, you had too much of a social life at night, the fact of the matter is that if you bomb one of the exams or you miss it, you're going to get a 0, but that 0 will drop in the grade book. And by the way, all your grades, and this is common practice at Blinn, all your grades are going to be in eCampus, and they're going to be on Gradebook. So this syllabus, by the way, is in eCampus, and it is linked right above the weekly content. So click on content, and you should be able to find it. I'll go through that at the end of this introduction. So anyways, let's see here. Let me think. What do I want to do? Okay. So anyways, back to where we are. So the next part of just following along in the course information sheet is the quizzes. And you will have 5 quizzes during the semester or the course, and you will have to take them. And of course, I think the first quiz is due like in a week or so, but just check the calendar and stay up abreast on that. But generally speaking, I will backload the quizzes and let you take them at a later date. Just again, stay up, watch your calendar when they come open and when they close. That's important in eCampus. Just watch that calendar, and you should be able to do what you need to do. So anyways, but those quizzes are open note, whereas the exams are closed note, closed book, and honor locked. The quizzes are not honor locked. The quizzes are open note, open book, and, do the best you can with it, sort of thing. So, and occasionally, depending on especially, and by the way, I do reserve the right, most quizzes will be on eCampus, but I do reserve the right to give quizzes in class in lieu of something on eCampus, especially if I find that attendance is perhaps low, or there's just something that makes me to do that, and sometimes I do. But anyways, just FYI, keep your eyes open. Anyways, that's that. So you got quizzes, which is worth 100 points total. An exam, we talked about that, 100 points per exam. They dropped the lowest exam grade. And then next up on our grades is the essay, and that too is worth 100 points. And this essay, I hope, is going to be a little bit interesting for some of you, and maybe all of you. Knowing the fact that many of you are engineers in the making, or are going to be construction science boys in the making, some of you have a real interest in architecture, others less so. But what I want you to do is to write an essay, and it is to be extensive. I want you to write a thorough essay and paper on structure, an architectural structure in Texas history. Now, that can be all the way back to the, perhaps say, the Caddoan domed huts of East Texas. You could talk about the why and how the Spaniards built missions or presidios, how they did it. You can go all the way to the modern times and talk about the construction of the Astrodome in Houston, or maybe Jerry World, or I'll just use Darrell Royal Memorial Stadium in Austin. Why do they do what they do? And how do they build it? What's that? So here's the way I would say it. And I'm going to ask on the first day we get together, I'm going to take a roll, and then I'm going to call out your name, and I'm going to ask what your degree is going to be in. And most of you at this point kind of have an idea what you want. So if you are in the hard sciences, construction science, engineering, or something like that, I expect you to give me more of a technical paper with less strict history. As I like to say, as I say in the syllabus, I want you to give me a how-to paper more so than a why-to paper. So if you're going to write the essay and you come with that degree, or you're going to try to get that, I want you to give me a technical. Now, I expect a little history in there, and I expect you to put the paper and the structure that you're writing on in the proper context. So, I mean, obviously, you're going to say how they do it, but, you know, the Spaniards are going to be limited if we're talking about missions, or presidios are limited but what's around them. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to choose, each of you will choose a specific structure. And you will have to do your research and work on it. Some of you will go through, say, a famous home in Highland Park at Dallas, because that has, at least until the last 20 years or so when they started bulldozing some old homes over there, they had some very interesting and unique, architecturally fascinating homes in the Highland Park University Park part of Dallas. Maybe so also in River Oaks in Houston, maybe Alamo Heights in San Antonio. But anyways, all that to say is that there are lots of options for you. All right, you can read through that part here talking about these things, and just me making suggestions as you go, as you read through that paragraph that's in front of you. By the way, so we're clear, the Alamo is not available, and also you need to pick your topic quickly. And because I expect you to do a little research and digging around on it, and to give plans and ideas and so forth if you are an engineering major. If you are, by the way, more of a teacher in the making, because some of you are going to be in teaching, you will give me a why-to paper. So if you're going to be a teacher or something liberal arts method, you're going to be more of a why. Why did the Spanish do this? With a little bit of detail about how they build it, but you're heavier on the why versus the how of the engineer. So anyways, but you need to pick this, and you have to pick this by the 22nd of January. You first come, first serve, and so if you do not pick this, or you wait to the last minute, you may not get what you want. So you can email me, or you can catch me in class on the 22nd and say, this is what I want to do. That's great. Go for it, please. But you need to pick by the 22nd, and if you don't pick it by the 22nd, you get a 0 on the project, and that's going to doom you at least in a letter grade, and it's really more like 15 points on your final average. So I expect many of you to write this essay, and I expect you to take a lot of time to do it. And I expect, I mean, the minimum on the project's like 300 words, but realistically, I expect some of you to come in at 1,500 to 2,000 words. Some of you might even be higher than that. But if you do it right, and you mind your, you dot your I's, you cross your T's, you mind your P's and Q's, you document what you're up to, and you don't go overboard on this topic or this aspect or another. Just by the way, you can use Turabi and Chicago as your citations. That's my preferred method. If you're familiar with MLA, I'm fine with MLA if you want to use MLA, but you've got to document where you're getting all this stuff from. And so I expect some of you to do a lot of work, or if you're already at the A&M campus for some other things, go up to that Sterling Evans library or the engineering library over there. There's lots of good resources, but you need to tell me where you're getting stuff done. Please do not use Wikipedia, encyclopedias, or any other pedia that is out there. That is not an acceptable form of citation. That is just basic introductory stuff. So please mind your P's and Q's there. Also, something else to keep in mind too, AI is becoming more and more common. Let me be blunt about this. If I would not use it. I mean, my personal opinion is you shouldn't use it at all. But let's say it like this. If it becomes obvious in the writing of this paper that you really don't know what you're talking about, or the writing is so great and the detail and the knowledge is so extreme, I do also reserve the right to ask students to make presentations and also come by the office to chat this stuff up. So I would be very careful how you use artificial intelligence in writing this essay or this paper. If it is just a cut and paste operation because you ginned it up, it's not going to end well. So do it yourself. Even I prefer a paper with hickeys. I prefer a paper with errors. Yes, do your diligence on your grammar. Please do it right. But at the end of the day, do it yourself. I'd rather have that than somebody just piggybacking on. So anyways, all right. So you can read all the rest of it. Times New Roman 12-point font. That is what I want. No, it's not it's non-negotiable there. It can be turned into late by a class period, but at the end of the day, it's going to be half off, all that sort of stuff. February 12th is the due date, so that's a little less than a month out from the start of the course, and so that's that. Final exam is at the end of the course. There is no writing at the end of the course, particularly on the final exam. That is all A, B, C, D. The reality is, and that's all on eCampus. The final exam is the last thing we need to do, and reality, it's comprehensive, so I'm clear, and it will be something that to think of it like this. Your motor is running in the parking lot to get to Panama City Beach, Destin, or wherever you're going, maybe South Padre Island. Some of you will be going skiing. Some of you just going home to work, see mom and dad. But whatever, your motor's running in the parking lot at the end of this course. My motor's running in the parking lot. Let's get this thing over with and get it done. So that's all going to be online. So we talked about the optional fourth exam as far as the drop. That's that. Grade enhancement is this. Texas has 254 counties, and you will do a county courthouse project, and it is handwritten. It is not cut and paste. So you need to find all 254 counties, starting with Anderson, numbering it from Anderson to Zavala County. That's the last one, and you're going to give me 254 counties. You're going to tell me why it was, what the county is, county seat, who it's named for, the number of county courthouses, the existing structure, who built the existing structure, and when was it built. And so most of these counties will have 2, 3, 4, 5 courthouses in its history. You will tell me all that. You'll just tell me that. But with regard to who it is built for or built by, what I would tell you is that you need to say, I'll give you an example. Burleson County, where I grew up and live to this day, is named for, the county seat is Caldwell, Texas. It's going to have a handful, let me think here a second. It should be about 3 courthouses, and it might be 4, but I think it's 3 courthouses. Anyways, Burleson County, and this is where I really look to, is that I look to see how you answer this question. Who is it named for? You need to say more than Burleson County was named for Edward Burleson. Yes, that is true, but I want a little bit more detail. The better way to say it would be Burleson County is named for General Edward Burleson, who was a soldier in the Texas Revolution and an Indian fighter after the Revolution and was vice president of the Republic of Texas. That's how you answer it. You just need to give me one full sentence, but a sentence that tells me more than just his name and gives his first name or whatever. But you need to give me a little more there. This is to be written in pen, ink, and it needs to be written in a composition book or a spiral notebook or a 3-ring binder with a loose leaf, but I will not take loose paper just all floating everywhere. You need to turn this in. I think I've got it February 19th, so that's soon enough, so make sure you get that turned in. It'll take some time. It's not going to take forever, but it's also generous in the sense that it's worth 600 points on a course that is worth 650 points. So basically, it's close to a letter grade for extra credit. So do that. Make sure you turn it in, and it's got to be handwritten. So it's you turn it in at class. But that's that in a nutshell. That's the course as far as a layout, A, B, C, D stuff. And so, if you mind your P's and Q's, you come to class, you ask questions, don't throw your hands up and just rend your clothing like some sort of Old Testament prophet. You'll be okay. Now, policies and stuff. You can see all that stuff there. I'm not going to read through it. When we get into class, I'll ask you to take your caps off. That's just an old practice that I've gotten. I've always done it in my classes. So make sure you take your caps off. I don't mind food or drink, but if you're going to don't bring liver and onions in the classroom. And in fact, actually, I'd prefer you not to. No, actually, don't bring any food. But basically, or if you're bringing Whataburger or something like that, maybe Chick-fil-A or Lane's, you got to bring enough for everybody, and then we'll be okay there. I can be bought with food. Ha 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 ha. But if you're wanting to bring a drink in there, that's fine. Just make sure it's got a cap on it, lid on the cup, that sort of stuff there. So anyways, this is, by the way, a lecture course. I don't use much technology. Even in the eCampus stuff, I don't use PowerPoint. It was said, I heard recently, power corrupts and PowerPoint corrupts absolutely is kind of the play off of that old statement, you know, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So anyways, I don't use PowerPoint or anything like that. I tell stories. I stand up, cross my arms, oftentimes write on the board a few things, and then get to telling stories. Students are not dropped, those sorts of things there, you know, on and on we can go. So we'll start class here soon, meaning on Wednesday. And you can see here as I'm drawing through, you can see articles 19, 20, and 23 on the Lone Star Reader will be on the first exam. And so you can see how this is all going through here. Modern Texas, LBJ, I'll spend a lot of time. Exam 1 oftentimes will open. Exams, by the way, will often open on Fridays, and they'll close on the following Monday. So you got the weekend plus a day. And so you can see that to do it. Most of you will take that exam on the Monday. Now, at the end of the course, you'll see down here, by the way, the drop deadline is on the 23rd of February. But as we get down toward the end, you'll see how the course ends up. March, basically, you can see here, and that's last week 8. It's going to be kind of crazy busy. Depending on how I'm feeling, I may actually open this 4th exam a couple of days earlier, but just FYI, just keep that in the back of your mind. If you need to have any questions for me, feel free to contact me. I guess one other thing I should bring up here, and give me 1 second to do this. All right, we're back again here. I think you might even not have even noticed it, but I had to pause for a second. But you can see I changed the screen up on you. So here is eCampus. So that's the course. Let's click through it. You see all this stuff here. So your week 1 is already posted. Content, there's something else. Let's bring that up. And so what you're seeing here on content is that your syllabus is linked right there. Textbooks, that's already, we discussed that, and your content by week. At the time of this recording, at the outset of the course, you'll only be able to see weeks 1 through 4. Eventually, I will open up weeks 5 through 8. So as we go, but there you go. And so off to your right, you'll see all these different things that are posted. And then also, if for some reason I got sick or whatever, and we had to have class on Zoom, you can have that there. There's your drop. There's your drop box for your essay. So let's see that come up. Architecture structure essay. You can see that. And then on we can go. So progress, that's your grade book, all this. So eCampus is your friend in this course. It's necessary. And I look forward to doing this. So we'll see you in class. Good luck on the course, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.